What's up, my people? In this video, we're going to be doing the polynomials practice test. I will be doing all 14 questions so you can check your work and make sure you've done it right. So let's jump right in. Excuse me. So jump right in. Here we go. So this right here, remember, you have to start with the degree, 6th degree. And since that is a one term, that's a monomial. Over here, what's the highest degree? 1. That makes this linear. And since there are two terms, binomial. That was the easy one. Okay, so let's go to the next set of questions. And remember, if there's a minus sign, you have to change this, change to a plus. This becomes negative. That becomes a minus, or negative. That becomes a minus. So now I need to line up this, minus 3. I need to line up this, minus 2p cubed. And I need to minus the 8p to the 4th. So 4 minus 3, 1. This plus 8p comes straight down. And then negative 4p to the 4th minus 8p to the 4th is negative 11p to the 4th. And then 6p cubed minus 2p cubed is 4p cubed. Now we got to put this in the correct order. Negative 11p to the 4th plus 4p cubed plus 8p plus 1. There's that. Okay, moving right along. Let's slide on over here. Let's go ahead and change the signs of everything here. That changes to a plus. That changes to a minus, but this one changes to plus. That one changes to plus. So negative 8r cubed. Negative 8r cubed goes there. Plus 4 goes there. And plus 5r to the 4th goes there. And then so we got 4 plus 4, 8. This plus 8r squared comes straight down. 6r to the 4th plus 5r to the 4th is 11r to the 4th. And then r cubed minus 8. R cubed is negative 7. R cubed, because this is a 1. 1 minus 8 is negative 7, okay? And then we have to put these in the correct order. So this is going to become 11r to the 4th minus 7r cubed plus 8r squared plus 8. Okay? There is that. All right, so we're gonna move right along. Now, when we start multiplying these, I know some of you guys like the box method, some of you like the FOIL method. So on the odd ones, I'm gonna use the box method. And on the even ones, I'm gonna use the FOIL method, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's do the box method over here. And I got 2v minus 4, v minus 2. 2 times v, 2v squared. 2v times negative 2 is negative 4v. Negative 4 times v is negative 4v. Negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. And then remember, we add the diagonals. And when we add the diagonals, remember this goes in the front. 2v squared. Negative 4v minus 4v is negative 8v. And then we got the plus 8 in the back. Okay? That is the answer to that one using the box method. And on the other side, I'm going to do the FOIL method. So I got to do p times 2p is going to be 2p squared. P times negative 4 negative 4p. And then when you do the other side, negative 4 times 2p is negative 8p. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Then we combine the terms in the middle and we get our final answer. So we'll have 2p squared. Negative 4p minus 8p is a negative 12p plus 16. And this is your final answer for that one. Okay. And then let's go down here. Now this is a 2x3 box. Two by 3. And we got 2v minus 5. 5v squared plus 3v plus 6. Okay? So the top left box, 2 times 5 is 10. V times v squared is v cubed. Remember, since there's 2 v's at the top and 1 v to the left, that's a total of 3 of them. And then 2 times 3 is 6. V times v is v squared. And then we got 2 times 6 is 12. And that other v is coming for the ride. Okay, now on the bottom, you got negative 5 times 5 is negative 25 v squared. And then negative 5 times 3 is negative 15 v. And then negative 5 times a positive 6 is negative 30. And then don't forget, we have to add the diagonals. We're going to add this one. And then we're going to add this one. And then to get our final answer. So remember, this one that's in the front always goes in the front. 10v cubed. 25v squared. Negative 25v squared plus 6v squared. That's going to be a negative 19v squared. And then you got negative 15v plus 12v is going to be negative 3v. And you got minus 30 on the back end of that. That is your final answer for that one. Okay. Now we're going to do the FOIL method on this other side. Let's see. You got any dope colors? Let's do this one. All right. 2r times 3r squared is going to be 6r cubed. 2r times 3r is a positive 6r squared. And then 2r times 3 is 6r. Okay? Now we're going to do the other side of this. Negative 5 times 3r squared is negative 15r squared. And because I know it's r squared, I'm going to go ahead and start the lining up right here. And then negative 5 times 3r is going to be negative 15r. And then negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Okay? This one's going to come straight down. 6r cubed. Now you got 6r squared minus 15r. That's going to be about negative 9r squared. 6r minus 15r is going to be just negative 9r. And then I got minus 15 on the end. And that's the answer for that one. Okay, here we go. Now we have to factor these completely. And then I want you to find the zeros, because on your test, I will require you to find the zeros. I just forgot to put them on here. So make sure you find the zeros after you watch this video. Okay, so we got to figure out, we got to factor these. Let's put the x here. And then remember, a times c is back here. and then b is in the front. And in this case, since there's no number in front of n, my b is number 1. And then my a times c is negative 56. Okay? I got to figure out what times what is negative 56. So I know I got 1 times 56. And then we're going to have 2 times 28. And then we're going to end up with 3. Does that 3 go in there? I don't think so. Let's go with 4, 14. And then I know maybe 7 times 8. And there's that. So we got to figure out which 2 can we multiply to get negative 56, yet add or subtract to give us a positive 1. And what we're going to do is, if hopefully by now you have seen that this is going to be our choice. So we're going to use 8 and 7. Now I got to figure out how to make 8 and 7 into a positive 1. I have to subtract 7. And then when I subtract 7, and I do negative 7 times 8, you get negative 56. So I got x plus 8, x minus 7. Now we have to find the zeros. Let's see if I can squeeze this down here. I wrote that a little bit too big. X plus 8 equals 0. The inverse of plus 8 is minus 8. X equals negative 8. And then I got x minus 7 equals 0. Add 7 to both sides. And we got x equals positive 7. Okay. All right, let's do this one on the right. I'm going to write my, actually, I have more space on this side. So here we go. Negative 4 needs to go in the front. Negative 5 needs to go in the back. And luckily for us, it's only 1 and 5. So we have to figure out how to make this thing work. 1, 5. But I need a negative 4. That means my 5 needs to be negative. Okay, so now we're going to go this way. X plus 1, x minus 5. I'm going to write this over here. Equals 0. And then we're going to do x minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 1. X equals negative 1. And then I got a plus 5, x equals a positive 5. Or you don't have to put the positive sign, but you can. All right. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more challenging because the numbers are a lot bigger. So I'm going to write this a little bit smaller down here because, yeah, we're going to need the space. All right, so negative 46 goes here. And then I got negative 21 times 7. Let me get my calculator. Negative 21 times 7 is going to be negative 147. So 147, that's 147. And then 147 divided by 3 is 49. And because I noticed that, hey, 3 and 49 work, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into that because, yeah, I need to go ahead and save myself some time. 3, 49, and that 49 needs to be negative. Okay? Now that I've done that, remember, we got to fill our box in. And for those that like the factoring by grouping, I'm going to show you that too on the next equation. All right, so we know 7m squared goes there, and we know negative 21 goes here. Now I got to figure out where I want to put what. And so to me, the first thing I see is negative 49m because I know there's a 7 in there, and I'm going to put the positive 3m because I know that 21 has a 3. So what is the greatest common factor, which you guys will do at the end of this page, of 7m squared minus 49? And hopefully you said the greatest common factor is 7m. Actually, let's do that in a different color. Hopefully you said that 7m. 7m times what is 7m squared? Well, that becomes m up here. And 7m times negative 49 ends up becoming what? What is that number? Negative 7. And then this m at the top times what gives me positive 3m? You would say plus 3. So now I need to find my zeros. M minus 7 on one side, dot, 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 and then 7m plus 3 on the other side. We're going to add 7. Oops, I forgot to put 0. Add 7. M equals 7. And if I subtract 3, 7m equals negative 3. But remember, we got to do the order of operations backwards. So we did that first. Now you have to divide by 7. Divide by 7. And m equals negative 3/7. And then m equals a positive 7. Now, don't forget, when you want to check and make sure you did it right, you're going to want to plug your original equation into Desmos and then see if your zeros match. So let's go ahead and do that right now so that you can see how to do that and you can check your work. Desmos is right here. So on that, so I'm going to do 7. And remember, Desmos doesn't like anything that's not an x if we're trying to graph. So I'm going to use 7x squared minus 46x minus 21. And remember, Desmos always gives you the important parts. All right. And according to this, one of our zeros is 7. And let's see if that's what we said. Oh, we said it was 7 right here. And the other one, we said negative 3/7. Let's see if that's what Desmos says. If I put negative 3 divided by 7, I get 0.428. And if I look at this dot here, 0.42, they put 0.429 because they use this 5 to round. So it's the same answer, and there we go. Okay? All right, so that's how you check your work. We'll check one more in just a minute. And for the people who liked factoring by grouping, we're going to do that on this side. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, let's just kind of split that. If you have no clue what I'm talking about factoring by grouping, don't worry about what I'm doing. Just use the method that we just did over here in the box. All right, so let's go ahead and do this one. Let's see if we can squeeze all this in here. Let's try. Let's see what other colors we got that we want to use. Let's try this blue right here. So it's going to be negative 8 right here. And I got to figure out what 16 times 3 is. I'm pretty sure that's 48. But let's double check. Since I have it, since I have Desmos, why not use it? Let's see what 16 times 3 is. It's 48. OMG. So negative 48. Now we got to figure out what times what makes negative 48. 1 times 48. 2 times 24. Let me see. 48 divided by 3. Oops. 48 divided by 3. 3 times 16. 4 times 12. 6 times 8. And that's all of them. I got to figure out how I can get a positive 8 out of some of these numbers. And hopefully you spotted this one right here. Because 12 and 4 can give you an 8 and a 48. How do I do that? Well, if I put 12 up here, and I put a 4 down here, but I make that 12 negative. Negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. And then negative 12 times 4 is negative 48. Okay? Now we're going to factor by grouping. So factor by grouping means you just put this one first. And instead of writing our numbers into separate parentheses, we're just going to do minus 12n plus 4n. Because that came from here and there. And then we put the last number last like normal anyway. And don't forget, in case you're like, why did he do that? Remember, negative 12n plus 4n is negative 8n, which happens to be the middle number. So we just kind of wrote it a little bit different. And then for those who I showed grouping, remember, put those in their parentheses first, group these, and then you're going to pull out the greatest common factor of each parenthesis. So we're going to pretend we don't see this side over here. So pretend we don't see that over there. And the greatest common factor of this first parenthesis is 3n. When I pull out 3n, I'm left with n minus 4 because 3n times 4 is 12n. And then in the back one, parenthesis, so now I'm looking over here. What is the greatest common factor of that parenthesis? And the answer is 4. And when I pull out 4, I'm left with n minus 4. And then if you guys remember when I talked about this, because these match, I can put them in their own parenthesis together. And then we put the front numbers 3n and a positive 4 in their thing together. Now we got to find the zeros. (3n plus 4). And then here we go, finding the zeros. N minus 4 equals 0. I'm going to add 4. Add 4. N equals positive 4. And then 3n plus 4 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 4. Subtract 4. 3n equals negative 4. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. N equals negative 4 thirds. And negative 4. So in this example, I'm going to write it down on a separate sheet of paper. Hold on just a second. I'm going to show you how to confirm that your factors are right and then confirm that your zeros are right. So we're going to do both of those on this question in case you need to check any of your work. Okay. So give me a second. I'm writing them down. And then we said our zeros were 4 and negative 4 thirds. So when we go to Desmos, the very first thing, remember, anytime we're trying to compare anything, whatever, we always have to type the original in Desmos first on the first line. That's ideal. And remember, change everything to x. So we got 3x squared minus 8x minus 16. Bam, we got our parabola. Now, let's see if our factors are right. If our factors are right, it should line up perfect. X minus 4. And then the other one said 3x plus 4. And you notice it's exactly the same. All it did was change colors. You see that? If anything was off, even like a sign, let's say we accidentally put this as plus 4, you'll see that it'll be different. So if you can, you might, there it is. Perfect. Okay. And of course, Desmos always puts the important points. And we said that our zeros were 4 and negative 4 thirds. So let's figure out what negative 4 thirds equals. Negative 4 divided by 3 is negative 1.33 and a whole bunch of 3's. If I click on that dot, you see negative 1 and a whole bunch of 3's. If I click on that dot, you have 4. So that's how you can tell if your answers are correct. All you have to do is verify your work in Desmos. You should not be submitting anything to me, and you literally have Desmos to check, okay? And the final two are just the greatest common factors. Pretty much what's the biggest number that goes into all of them? And once I take that out, what's left? And then for those who remember, we got to figure out what number goes into 35, 40, and 10. That number happens to be 5. And in a previous video, you always take out the smallest k because there's only one of those. And then 5 times something is 35. That something happens to be 7. If there were 4 k's and I took 1 out, that leaves 3 on the inside. Okay, we got the minus. 5 times something is going to be 40. That something is 8. If I had 2 k's and I took 1 out, that left me with 1 on the inside. And then 5 times something is going to give me 10. If I had 1k, took it out, there's none left on the inside. That is the answer to that one. And finally, let's go ahead and see what is the greatest common factor of 56, 49, and 49. Hopefully you said 7, but this one was kind of a trick one because you notice all of them have a negative sign. Because they all have negative signs, you can pull the negative out also. That's a negative 7. That's what comes out. I probably got you there. Do they all have an N at least? No, this one is missing. So sad face. Oh my goodness, sad face. She's missing the N. The N is lost or something. I don't know. So here we go. Whatever. So negative 7 times something is negative 56. That happens to be 8. And since we didn't take any N's out, they all stayed in. Negative 7 times something is negative 49. That's going to be positive 7. And we didn't take any N's out. And then finally, negative 7 times a positive 7 is going to be negative 7 times positive 7 is going to be a negative 49. All right, this is all the stuff you got to know. And it's not really that difficult, especially if you've been practicing and watching the previous videos. This is a quick run through of, this is a quick run through. And I'm gonna draw a picture for you. I know you probably thought that was Mickey Mouse. Yeah, I'm an artiste, in case you didn't know. And then we got the ground. Oh, hold on. Got the ground. And then we got some grass. If you're still watching this far and you haven't got out of the video, I want the first 3 people that can see this picture, tell me what did I just draw and screenshot it and email it to me. The first 3 emails that I get, I will give you extra credit on this practice test. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll talk to y'all later.